You ever think about trading stocks? Couldn't be easier to make a trade using the Robinhood app.
Robinhood promised that it would make investing for everyone. In 2021, the trading app was at the center of a news story about hedge funds, small investors, and stocks that went viral on the internet. On January 28th, Robinhood temporarily blocked buying, but not selling, Reddit darlings like GameStop. This may be the least subtle way that Robinhood pushed its users to act the way that the company wanted them to, but it's not the first time they've tried to influence people using the app. The way that things are designed can change the way that we feel, and that can change the way that we act. That's why casinos are designed the way that they are. Flashing lights, bright colors, and sudden noises excite the brain and make us a little bit more likely to be impulsive. The Robinhood app is also designed to make us feel a certain way, and one of the most dangerous emotions when it comes to money is fear. Here's what fear does to the brain. This is a very short version of an explanation by New York University professor and neuroscientist Joseph E. Ledoux. Fear is a feeling that we get when we become consciously aware of what our brain perceives as a threat. When we feel afraid, we become more alert and more focused. That intense focus means we're more likely to ignore any information that doesn't seem related to the threat. When we're afraid, most brain activity is concentrated here, in areas that are mainly responsible for emotion, the sensory system, and our stress response. Less blood flows to the frontal lobe of the brain when we're frightened. The frontal lobe is responsible for abstract thought, memory, and problem solving. The professor doesn't say this, but I'm going to say it. Fear makes us more likely to make bad decisions.
Historically, it's never paid to jump onto a FOMO trade because you're just worried you're not going to make as much.
Robinhood's design invites what business media calls investing FOMO, or fear of missing out. The fear of missing out can drive us to make quick, impulsive decisions about money. Most experts recommend doing thorough research before making a trade, but our anxieties about missing out on a once-in-a-lifetime chance can sometimes win over the advice we know we should take. So how do you design for FOMO? Emphasize what's happening right this second. Make it feel important and make it feel urgent. This is how the Robinhood app displays a stock. Current price, massive price chart, very little other information immediately visible on screen. The current price animates every time there's even a tiny change. The human eye is naturally attracted to movement, so this animation pulls my attention towards the price and emphasizes every little immediate change, creating a sense of urgency. I can find other information about a company, but it's buried down below this visually interesting content right here. And the trade button is conveniently located in the bottom right corner, right in the most ergonomic and comfortable place for my thumb to be, positioned so that it's easy to listen to that nagging fear of missing out and buy instead of scrolling down to do more research. This design appears to be influencing how people trade on Robinhood. According to a 2020 report in the New York Times, in the first 3 months of 2020, Robinhood users traded 9 times as many shares as E-Trade customers and 40 times as many shares as Charles Schwab customers per dollar in the average customer account in the most recent quarter. Trading more often is riskier. Studies have shown that between 80 to 90% of people who place trades within the same day lose money. Statistically speaking, short-term trading doesn't pay. Robinhood's design nudges the people who use the app towards short-term thinking. The design visually downplays the possibility of doing more research and makes it easy to act on our fear of missing out. All of these factors nudge traders towards a strategy that doesn't work for most people who play the stock market. Our fears about money go deeper than just the fear of missing out. Human beings experience losing money as a painful thing. Researchers recorded fMRI brain scans of people playing a game where they could win or lose money. Whenever research participants lost money, areas of the brain associated with responding to physical pain were active. Robinhood's design amplifies the painful feeling of loss. When stocks begin to lose value, the app changes the color of the trend line, the chart labels, and many icons on the screen to a bright red. Past versions of the design colored the whole top portion of the screen this warning label red. It's an established design convention when you're making something for finance to use some amount of green when showing gains and some amount of red when showing losses, but Robinhood's use of color is excessive when compared to other trading apps. These choices were important enough that in a 2014 demo of the app, Robinhood's co-founders specifically called attention to the use of color.
you scroll down, you'll see all of the stocks that you actually own through the app and whether they've been doing well or not. And so everything's sort of red or green depending on if things have gone down or up.
Color is psychologically powerful, especially when it comes to money and financial loss. A recent study found that the color red changed the way that people invested. Seeing stock information displayed in red made the more than 1,400 people who participated in this study 20% less likely to take risks, more pessimistic about the future of a stock, and 15% less likely to buy a stock. A simple color change can nudge people away from the classic investing advice to buy low and sell high. If a stock is displayed in red, people feel worse about that company. Instead of thinking that this may be a dip and a good time to buy, the color red makes it seem like the trend of loss is inevitable and bound to continue. There's another way that the design of this app preys on our fear of loss. Robinhood displays the total gain or total loss in a portfolio very clearly and at the top of the screen. That number is so eye-catching that screenshots of huge positive or huge negative amounts in Robinhood accounts get passed around on the internet. A study conducted in 2017 collected data about what happened when an investment brokerage changed how it displayed capital gains and losses on its website. When the design made the total gain or loss more visually prominent, traders were more likely to sell winning investments and more likely to hold on to losing investments. Investors were afraid to lose what they'd gained, and so they sold when they might have made more money by staying in the trade. That design change also made people less likely to write off a bad bet. Instead, they held on and rode the chart into the negatives out of a hope that the trend would reverse and the pain of a loss would go away. Robinhood's portfolio view does exactly what the brokerage from that study did. It shows the total capital gain or loss very clearly at the top of the screen, and it's very likely that this design is affecting what people do in the same way. The design decisions I've talked about so far aren't the only ways that Robinhood works against the best interests of the people who use their app. Robinhood famously doesn't charge any fees for trades. This is how they talk about it in their commercials.
Robinhood lets you trade stocks with zero commission. That's right, commission-free.
So if Robinhood doesn't make any money directly from the people placing the trades, how does the company make any money? This is what they say in their advertising.
Well, other brokers have brick-and-mortar stores. They spend millions on Super Bowl ads. Robinhood doesn't, and the savings are passed on to you.
This is the reality.
In October, Bloomberg reported that the company gets almost half of its revenue through a practice called payment for order flow.
Payment for order flow means this. Before any trade on Robinhood is completed, the order is directed through a third party who pays to execute the transaction. That means that another company, often a hedge fund, gets to be on the other side of the trades that Robinhood users make. In March of 2021, the U.S. Senate Committee on Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs held a public hearing on Robinhood and the state of retail investing. Duke University law professor Gina Gale Fletcher testified as an expert witness.
But the payment for order flow model undermines the relationship between a broker and their client because it pits the broker's primary revenue source directly against the clients to whom they owe a duty of best execution. So under the payment for order flow model, brokers are incentivized to put their own profit-seeking interests above their clients, and this greatly undermines the broker-investor relationship, likely leaving retail investors in a worse position.
Robinhood makes money from directing trade traffic, and so the company is incentivized to push people to make a lot of trades and to make the kind of trades that big hedge funds want to bet against. The design invites trading early, often, and impulsively, and fear is a very effective way to motivate people to do exactly that. This begs the question of whether or not engineering fear was a deliberate choice. I can't read minds, so I can't say whether Robinhood's co-founders or the people who designed the app set out with bad intentions. But it's very clear that this company understands how powerful design can be. After Robinhood won an Apple Design Award in 2015, the company posted this to their blog. Design is core to what we do. It determines the directions we take, the features we build, and the ways we communicate with our customers. Even now, in the middle of a public controversy about how the company manipulated its users, Robinhood is still hiring people who study the emotional impact of design. I've never worked for Robinhood, but I've been a user experience researcher for other companies. A user experience researcher's entire job is studying how design affects what people think and what people do. The job description for the behavioral insights researcher says, "Research has been central to our product development and business strategy since the very beginning. And our team continues to grow, along with our user base and product. Working in the research team at Robinhood, you'll help us systematically understand how people interact with financial products and how they think and feel about money. I think it's fair to say that this company knows exactly how much the design of their app can impact the people who use it. Researching Robinhood reminded me of two uncomfortable truths about technology companies today. The first is how terrifyingly powerful design can be. We may not think that the color of pixels or movement of numbers on a screen can do anything to change what we do, but research suggests that we're wrong. An app can push us to make an impulsive choice because we're afraid of missing out on a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. A screen can change what we feel just because of how it looks. The second, even scarier truth is that nothing is really free online. An old saying of the internet is true when it comes to Robinhood. If you're not paying anything, you're not the customer. You're the product.